So I want to talk about the video that I just released talking about the fuel system on this truck and how we got water in it, and how I felt that Ford really should have a class action lawsuit against them because of this. Now, if you notice on that video, it was filmed a long time ago, maybe 6 months or so. It wasn't something that I filmed and just released, and I really didn't want to be out there just ragging on the brand for views. And I made the video and I thought about it and I was like, man, maybe I'm just crapping on the brand too much. So I kind of waited, sat on it for a couple of months, maybe 6 months or so, and then I finally just released it because maybe it wasn't so bad. I don't want to come off like, man, F this truck and F this brand and all that. I don't want to be like that, but I'm at the fuel station at a local Valero, and I'm looking at these prices, and ever since we had a change here, prices haven't been too bad. It could just be the winter season, the winter fuel prices, but still. Uh, Sometimes it seems like the fuel is cheaper when someone else is in office versus someone else. But anyway, we got a rear park brake sensor. Needs to maybe be looked at. But one of the things that I want to talk about is that video. For one, I don't want to just be ragging on the brand. It's a great brand. It's obviously, in my opinion, the best solution, being that they have the aluminum bodies. The 6.7 Power Stroke is a pretty dang good engine. I think it's better than the Cummins overall. Everyone touts Cummins as, oh, it's got a Cummins. Yeah, Cummins are good engines, but they have their problems as well. Like, they're not the end-all be-all engine. You would think, being that that's all they do, but no, I think the 6.7 is still going to be better than the Cummins, a better design overall than the Cummins. Not saying that the Cummins doesn't have its pros and cons, but they all kind of got their pros and cons. I think it's better than Duramax, but the point is, I don't want to just be out here ragging on the brand, but there should maybe be some repercussions or some restitution paid out for what they've done with this fuel system, being that they've done so many upgrades across the truck over the years. Now, they've been making the CP4 since 2011, and they haven't done anything about the fuel system and the amount of money and damage that it can cost or cause just from something that is out of the customer's control. You get bad fuel, you have an employee that makes a mistake, puts DEF into the system, or just for no reason at all, a CP4 just grenades and sends the metal straight to the high pressure side of the fuel system, right over to the tank, and you gotta do everything. You're talking $10,000 repair, $12,000, $15,000 in some cases, sometimes even $20,000. It's a big deal. So why do I think it should be on Ford? If it were me and I was just working a job and I was doing something, I would have to take responsibility for that action that I did. It's called taking ownership. And I feel like Ford just hasn't really taken ownership of this issue. But you got companies like S&S coming out with solutions like the DCR pump. But first, they came out with that disaster prevention kit. Now, when you look at that kit, they've had so much success with that kit. And it's great that they have this opportunity to have such a profound impact on these vehicles, on this community of owners. The best-selling truck out here with this type of an issue. It's great for S&S. They've really come a long way. But basically, what they're doing is they're filtering the fuel as it leaves the CP4 tank or CP4 pump, and it goes back to the tank. They're filtering it before it gets back to the tank. So how does that help the injectors if they're only filtering it before the fuel gets back to the tank? Well, they are using the filtered fuel from the factory filter to power the high pressure side of the CP4 pump. So they're essentially using a filter that's on the truck already. It's filtered fuel, and they're powering the high pressure side. And they're catching all of the debris from the case before it goes to the tank. And they're only that 2-micron filter. It's the fuel that's going back to the tank that's getting filtered down with the added filter. And the factory filter is filtering the high pressure side. But the point is, like, with Ford. Why can't they just rework the filter flow and figure out a way to get this system so that it doesn't send the metal? Now, ideally, we'd like to see a new pump like how SNS came out with a whole pump, a DCR pump. How can it be that SNS can come out with all these solutions with so much less revenue? You know, Ford is a billion-dollar company. And not only SNS, but there's other disaster kits out there. You know, there's an opportunity, and these companies have taken advantage. I can't think of any of the other companies' names offhand, but there's other companies out there as well that have made kits. But SNS being the most profound one. Yeah, I mean, I guess when you're a company as large as Ford, you just have so many things that you're focused on that you can't. I don't know. I don't know what the excuse would be why they haven't come up with a better solution than what they have. And so long, such a long running engine, such a long run of an engine that yeah, you'd think that they'd have an answer, but they don't. Nonetheless, they don't. So I don't want to be crapping on the brand. I love the brand. Obviously, I've been like the number one fanboy for Ford for 10 years now, making videos, pushing people to get them. And I still believe that. Like, I still, even with the CP4 being an issue, I truly still believe it's the best product. I mean, the aluminum bodies, you can't go wrong with that alone. The aluminum bodies can just hold up for so much longer. These diesel engines, you know, just looking at what it means to have one of these diesels, we think about our reliability and all that. We're like, man, these gasoline engines are going to be more reliable. I don't know if that's still true, though, because the thing about it is these engines, when you look at the oil analysis and all that, even with the emissions on, these engines can go longer than a gas engine. Maybe, you know, 200, 300, I don't know. These engines, there's plenty of videos of these 6.7s with the emissions on getting 1 million miles. And you don't see that with the gasoline engine. So, granted, it's not practical to drive a gasoline engine for 1 million miles. You think about how much gasoline that is. It's a lot of gas to burn. But even just the oil analysis that I've done, and when you see that Ames oil product or some other similar products, maybe the Hot Shot Secrets oil, things like that, when they claim that oil can keep going in a diesel engine maybe 2 times the factory fill, they ain't lying. Like with the diesel engines, yeah, they can do it. And you don't see the wear in the oil analysis that I've done. With the gasoline engine oil analysis, the V8s and the trucks, they're saying that oil's been worked so hard at the end of its oil change. Diesels that I've done the oil analysis for, they're always saying that there's more left and there's less wear metals and things like that in these diesels. So I really believe on the cylinder wall, piston ring level, these diesels will outlive the gas engines, especially if you're working them and you want to purchase something that you're going to hold on to for a long time. I would say the diesel is going to be the choice over the trim, because the trim is going to tax you pretty heavily. Like a diesel engine can be a $10,000, $12,000 option. Your trim level is going to also be a $10,000 to $12,000 option, whether you're looking at platinums or whatever. So I would say get the diesel trim or the diesel engine over a high trim if money, you know, is an issue. The diesel engine is going to be, it's going to hold that resale better than the trim will, because we all know that these high trim, this is a Lariat. I don't usually go over that. I don't like to go over that. For me to go over a Lariat, I really got to be in a place to be doing that, because you're just not going to get the resale, I don't think, with a platinum, you know. I think the Lariat's kind of the sweet spot. But at the end of the day, an XLT, good purchase with a diesel. I actually almost got an XLT over this truck, and I think that resale would have been pretty good, but the front end and stuff was maybe a different situation. But Yeah, should there be a class action lawsuit? Back to the topic that we started the video with. I think there should be some type of restitution, and I think they need to really just change how they're routing this at this stage of the game. I mean, the SNS is still cool, but it's a $400 kit, and it's probably another $1,000 to get it installed. You got to pull the intake or whatever. I don't know what it costs to get those installed, but it's another thing that you got to do, and it's gonna cost, and you got to find a good mechanic. And I know Power Stroke Tech Talk with A-Rod does the SNS installs quite often, and if you can get in on his schedule, I know his schedule fills up really quickly. If you can get on his schedule, sure, but then you got to find you a good mechanic, wherever you are in the country, and it's another thing to do. So Ford, step up and do something about this. They've corrected so many things with these trucks, like the 23. This is a 23. I got 42K on it, and since owning it for that last year and a half, so many things have been updated. Like it's truly come a long way, and I'm very happy with the truck overall. But I just wanted to make a quick video talking about what I was talking about the day before. Not trying to rag on the brand, love the brand, and hopefully it didn't come off that way. The comments were pretty positive. Sometimes I can make a video and people are just like, what are you talking about? You're like, you are such a dummy, like you messed up that truck and all that. But it wasn't so much the case. I think people were pretty understanding, and I wasn't just crapping on the brand. I never want to be out there just trying to like take advantage of a situation, like, look what they did to me. Like, I don't want to be that guy. But anyway, my name is Sean. This is DS Trucks. Thank you for tuning in. See you in the next video. Over and out.